Welcome to Power Talks with Santosh Shah. In today's episode, we have with us Mr. Rajesh Hamal, Nepal's most celebrated movie star. Rajesh Hamal has acted in more than 250 films during the 25 years of golden times of Nepali cinema. Welcome to the show, Rajesh.
Thank you very much. Namaste to you all.
How is life and work moving on?
Life is generally good because I feel that I'm at a state of equilibrium, in a sense that I still have the gist and vigor of a young person, of youth, and I like to believe that I have certain semblance of wisdom that comes with age and experience and things like that. So life is generally good at this moment, at peace and in a balanced situation. As far as work goes, I cannot give you one definite answer. In one respect, it's wonderful because I've been giving consistency to my work for the last 22 plus years. So that in itself, I take it as humbly take it as an achievement. But then on the other hand, there are a lot of stones yet to be turned in the fields of cinema, especially our kinds of cinema. So I am looking forward to more changes happening in our cinema. So in terms of work, I've got this ambivalent answer.
It's true, you have seen it all during the last 25 years. But at this time, when you were rising up in your career, the country went through a difficult time. We had a decade-long civil war, and we had crises of various kinds. What motivated you to keep moving on with your life and work?
Basically, it's the people of this country. And when I say people, I also mean my audience. Because, cinema is a very democratic field. Unless and until the people that you're catering to want you, you cannot have a sustainable career. So largely, I would give the credit to the people. They are the one who motivated me, who encouraged me. And it came from all spheres or all walks of life in this country. So in that case, I consider myself very lucky because irrespective of the background, irrespective of the political beliefs, and irrespective of the ethnic background or cultural background they are from, everybody motivated and encouraged me, and that is one of the reasons why, even though the country went through certain turbulence, especially politically and socially, I would still be able to sustain because I was relating to the entire demography at large.
We are proud of our people. They're very simple and charismatic in many sense, as we have people from all over, from many ethnicities. Our people, besides Nepali language, are also very good at learning and speaking English and Hindi. And I just have a thought. Had we made films in Hindi and English, would it not ensure us a huge market that exists just in the south in India and also internationally?
My intention and my desire is to concentrate more on Nepali language films and maybe have aspects in the films which the international audience can relate to, as well as the local audience can relate. But then again, if someone, if there is a section of filmmakers who wants to sort of make a Nepali film with a Nepali theme and Nepali subject in various other languages, whether it be Hindi, English, or other languages that are spoken in this country, I do not see any harm in it. But that is not the only way to reach the international audience or have our film go globally. I would like to see a film, those films as well as a film that is made in Nepali language and which also has a global interest.
You do have a lot of success stories. You're somebody who understands success and consistency. But if you look in the past, we have had several international success, like with the film The Little Buddha, acted by famous Keanu Reeves, like Eric Valli made Caravan that made news all over Europe and America. And we even had the movie Everest, shot on the Everest with Tenzing Norgay's son, produced by David Brashears. I mean, in the recent times, it seems we have missed out with such international opportunities. What could be the reasons?
If you have, people coming in from abroad and taking up a Nepali subject, just and sort of like, giving it a twist and turn to cater to the tastes of the international audience, then that film would not be truly represented by the country, because it is something like a subject taken here but molded in a way that the international audience can sort of identify with. So it is not your original, genuine subject that comes out of here. I mean, we've seen that in many cases. Like even the films that have been made here by foreign directors or producers have sort of kept in mind that what is the subject that we can take out from here which actually appeals to the Western taste, or how we can modify that subject in a way that caters to the taste abroad. So when you make a film with that kind of concept, I do not think that it truly represents the nation or the culture.
In that case, you would not agree with the Slumdog Millionaire making it big in the international market, because it didn't really portray the kind of India that you're suggesting.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because cinema is a very complex thing. I mean, in one way, in one aspect, if you look at it, it was a popular film. And one of the aim of a filmmaker is to make his film a popular film. So that way, the mission has been fulfilled, is to attract a lot of audiences. It did that. And I mean, these are
many Oscars.
Yeah, won many awards around the world. It was appreciated by people around the world. So that is also a measurement of a film, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you look at it from the other aspect, saying, does it really represent India in a true sense?
Because they really criticize India.
Does it really happen that way? Or is it what the Western people like to see, what happens in India or the third world country?
So you are suggesting that we should not make the same mistake. We should not portray Nepal's just the poor aspect or the weak aspects in the international cinema just to make some money or popularity or gain some awards.
Yeah, I don't think so. We should cash on that totally, you know, because if you just have a facade of that, and if you're not truly representing it and claim that this is how it is there, then it's wrong. But if you claim it to be a work of fictions, it's an isolated case that impressed the director or the writer or the producer, and they wanted to sort of elaborate it in their own way and make it into a film that would have an audience who is sort of looking for feel good or for entertainment, or just to go and spend a good time in 2.5 hours and see different kind of human emotions and interaction being enacted in the film, then it should be all right. But if we really just cash on that and say this is what truly represents our country, and then sort of like sugarcoat it in a various way to sort of have the mass appeal of the people around the world, then it would not be right. So I feel that if we really wanted to be represented through our cinema in the world, then our subjects, our characters, our emotions and feelings has to be portrayed in the right perspective.
But you're right. Even though we make a fictional film in Nepal, which may not correspond to the culture or the people or the country, the moment it goes out, it in a way represents the country. That's how the international viewers look at it.
Oh, definitely, because once the product is made here and made by Nepali people and made in Nepal, then it will be. But cinema has other purpose, like I said. Cinema has a purpose of entertaining people, selling dreams to the people. It doesn't really have to be always what's happening around your environment, That's why many cinemas are called escapism. You want to escape from your reality, from your environment, and you go to another world which you are probably dreaming of or wanting to be in.
Something that you control.
Yes. And human beings sort of have a parallel life. One life they have is the reality around them, and another life is in their head, in their dream. So you're constantly leading a parallel life. So sometimes filmmakers, what they do is they take advantage of the people's dream, the way they want to live their life, or the way they want to see the world, or the way they want to see themselves instead of what they really are. And that is one of the reasons why we have superheroes and why we have great romances that goes on forever and ever and ever.
Without any problems.
Without any problems. And you always have the good taking over the evil, ultimately, and the evil being punished. So these are all aspects which are related to people's imaginations and dreams and the way they want to see their environment, Like a lot of people have asked me that, do you think it is really worthwhile to play in a film where you are sort of bashing 20 guys
They all shoot at you, and
yeah,
none of the bullets hit
none
you.
of the bullet hits you, or even if it hits you, you're sort of like enduring everything, and you're fighting, I don't know, 30 guys with maybe one hand tied at your back. But then again, there are people in the society who actually dream of that, So there are youths who are suppressed, and they think that only if I was strong enough to get to these people, only if I was strong enough to handle all these people who are bullying me or who are making my life miserable, wouldn't it be wonderful? So sometimes we intend to catch that as well. And we also intend to be like the voice of the underprivileged, there are a lot of people, especially the youth in this country, who do not have a platform to voice their voice. So in many ways, through our characters, or the characters that I play in film, I sort of convey what's in their heart. And that's why most of our dialogues get the clapping, because it is something that they really wanted to say but never could because of the circumstances or the environment they are in. So when we speak or say something that is in their heart but they're not able to, then we get this thunderous applaud in the audience, and they're very excited because they feel that we're truly representing them.
In the same context, there are millions of Nepali youths who follow you, who idolize you, who take you as a role model, who goes and beats up guys and achieves something that is unachievable. That's why you are a role model for millions of Nepali youths. But on the other hand, you have proven that with patience and commitment, long-term dedication, success and prosperity can be achieved. But if we look in today's time, our youths have been leaving the country or even joining criminal gangs to make quick gains. What would you like to tell to those kind of youths?
It's quite true. If you're persistent, if you're consistent, and if you have a passion that you are more or less confident about, things do work for you. If you are really passionate about what you can do not lose your heart just by not having a precedent in front of you and thinking that, this is something that is in the dark, where will it lead me? I don't have any examples in front of me to follow. Be an example yourself, and then see what you can do it. Especially if it is a field which is not as lucrative, especially if it is a field that has not proven itself in the society, then you even have to work doubly hard.
One of the reasons why young people are entering into criminal gangs and causing havoc in the country is the increasing lawlessness in the entire country. As a result, people suffer a lot. And normally the people who cause this havoc, they create troubles for the common people, are portrayed as villains in your films. And normally you just beat them up and kill them in 2.5 hours and give justice to the people. In reality, we know that does not happen. But in case if it happens, how long time does it take for people to get justice?
That's how I think film and the reality differs, because in a film you can have this Messiah coming out, Superman coming out, and he says that, okay, I'll take care of everything, don't you worry, and he eventually does. But in real life, you cannot put all your eggs in one basket and think that this one single factor will be the determined factor to make things work in the society. I think it has to be a contribution coming in from all sections of the society, the youth, the experiences of the older generation, the vigor of the youth, and people working in different platforms and in different workforces. They all have to contribute in their own way, and that is how you make a sustainable and a strong nation and society. But unfortunately, in a country like ours, we are so now politically unstable and economically lacking behind in terms of, like we're in a 21st century where most of the countries are making progress by leaps and bounds, and we're sort of like still struggling with our politics, still struggling with the law of the country to be yet to be written.
But writing the new constitution could be the beginning of the solution of all these issues that we touched upon. But do you think we will get the new constitution drafted by the end of May?
It looks very bleak the way the things are going right now, because though it has become very cliche to say consensus, we should all get together and reach sort of a compromise. We're saying all this, but that's the only way out. No matter how cliche or mundane it sounds, or how repetitive it sounds, that is the only way. It's only through consensus, by compromising on a certain situation, that we're going to have a law of this country. Because, as you know, there are political parties with a political ideology that differs so much from one another. So if they all stick to their own political ideology and do not want to budge an inch, then there is no way that you can have a common constitution that appeals to all spheres of the population. So I feel, and the way things are going right now, I do not see any consensus happening, because it's not only inter-party disturbances that they're having, it's also the intra-party things that they're going through. And no matter how sad or unencouraging it looks, it is the fact that we do not have a leader who is actually thinking about the entire nation and the entire population. They all have their vested interest.
Since you directly or indirectly communicate with a large population of the country, I would like to propose an idea to you. Like, let's say we don't blame the idiotic politicians or unproductive bureaucrats. How about people who rely more on their own professional capacities and contribute to the nation on a civilian basis?
I think that is the only way that you can make a country prosperous, by people just sticking to what they are good at. But unfortunately, in this country, what we're having, everybody are sort of like keen or taking a diverse interest in the politics of this country, because it's only when politics is stabilized, only when politics gets on track, then we can sort of do whatever we are good at and sort of concentrate on our work. So right now, our attention in our mind is all diverted towards politics and not at what we are really good at. Whether you be a businessman, whether you be a person like me who's in the field of arts, or other professionals, whether you be a doctor, engineer, or other things, they're all directly or indirectly related to political issues, and that is occupying their mind most of the time, because we are all feeling that unless and until this gets stabilized, there's no way that we can move forward in whatever field we excel. So unfortunately, most of our time is consumed by politics in this country, which is very sad, and that does not give us full time to concentrate on what we are good at. And we're not all good at politics. Politics is such a thing that I remember in my political science class, my teacher used to tell me the first thing that the first lesson he started off was, in politics, you can get away from politics, but politics will not get away from you as long as you live in the society. So that's how dominant it is. Even if you are not interested in politics, even if you do not want to discuss politics, if there is a political instability, if there is a political chaos, you do intend to take interest in it. You do intend to consume your time into it, because it's only when that gets on track you can do what you can do. So I think if we professionals, and there are great professionals in this country, who are good at doing what they are doing, only if they can fully concentrate on their own work, and the political system does not become hindrance, but on the other hand, it becomes an incentive for their work, then I think the prosperity is not too far.
Besides just focusing on commercial aspect, you have tried to put a lot of social and national issues in your movies. You have raised issues on corruption in the government, traffickings of various kinds. Do your viewers get it?
They do, but what we do is, we're always like, people point finger at us saying that our films are too much commercialized, and they do not actually relate to the real situation in the society or the country, and they are too fantastic and pure escapism, with a lot of fighting and singing being the predominant ingredients that goes into our film. But despite that, we do in most of our films have social issues coming up in one form or the other. It's a different thing that we might sugarcoat it with entertainment, and bringing in dancing numbers or singing numbers or dancing. But we do sort of like pinpoint social issues, whether it be women related in the society, whether it be caste related, whether it be the government's corruptions, or the corruption in politics, or the darker side of various other institutions like police force or bureaucracy, or even for that matter the corruptions and the exploitation that goes around in a society or in a village. We do bring that out. Our audience do intend to relate with that. They do see that we have brought up the issues in a way that they can understand. Like I did a lot of films where I was sort of like a very angry young man, frustrated with the system, with the society. And a lot of young people who saw my film those days, they identified with my character. And that was the motive of my character as well, to be able to relate to these general mass. And in that way we succeeded.
You're liked by millions, you're responsible, and you love Nepal. Do you see someday in a position of higher responsibility, that is in politics or national leadership?
You know, the other day I was, I don't know what someone said or I read it. It was said that especially people who get into film, which is a popular media, you know, or even music or entertaining field, you know, you get into that with the sole motive of wanting to excel in that craft. But eventually with popularity and with the public adulation and the recognized face, people expect you to know on various other things as well, you know. They just don't want you to be sort of representative of the craft that you represent. They want you to, you know, to hear from you on various other subjects as well, whether it be economics, whether it be scientific, whether it be politics, you know. That way I can see that it is very natural for people to say, expect that maybe his next step would be into politics. Maybe after doing films for so many years, that would be a natural turn. But I would not say never, because I am interested in the affairs of the country. I would like to see our country prospering, to develop.
So how many years are you looking at to see Rajesh Hamal in Nepali politics?
I want to contribute at least another 10 years in the field of cinema, because, you know, for 20 odd years I've been, my participation has been mostly as an actor. But my next step in the film career would be, I would want to be a director, and, you know, and the cinema, like we say, is the director's medium. So you have the full control, and you are the captain of the ship, and whatever the product that comes out is your responsibility and your vision. So I want to have that total command over my craft, over my cinema.
In 10 years, we're looking at an actor turned director, Rajesh Hamal, and then director turned politician, Rajesh Hamal.
I wouldn't say no to that, yes. In distant future, politics could be in the agenda. And so I have 10 years, and I intend to utilize this making film as well as doing my homeworks on politics.
I wish you best wishes for your future endeavors. It was really wonderful having you on Power Talks.
Thank you very much. Pleasure being here.
Thank you for being with us. See you next week, the same time. Have a great week ahead. Till then, good luck and goodbye.